What's up, guys? I just finished watching the All-22 of Monday Night Football, and I think we have to have a conversation because a lot of people are talking about Joe Burrow being the MVP of the NFL this year, or even a candidate. And either way, I think that we have forgotten what value means. Value is what you add beyond what is expected, beyond what is the baseline expectation. And I don't think Joe Burrow is adding much of anything at all beyond expectation. Right? He dropped back 46 times yesterday, and I only have him down for 4 impressive throws. 4. It's less than 10% of his throws. His positive play rate last night was 7.84%. That is almost non-existent. It's a fourth of the league average. Usually quarterbacks get between 20 and 30% positive plays on a drop back. Now, Joe Burrow avoids mistakes. He was accurate on 85% of his attempts. You know, he only had a negative play 13% of the time. That's way lower than usual. But if you're just taking what's given to you, executing easy plays, isn't that just what you're expected to do? Right? You're expected not to get a speeding ticket or rear end anybody on the way home from work, but you wouldn't walk up to a NASCAR track and say, "Strap me in behind the wheel. I haven't rear-ended anybody in 2 years. I can probably win this race." You're not a great driver just because you don't mess up. And Joe Burrow's not a great quarterback adding value to his team just because he can throw quick hitches, quick curls, and quick slants to wide open, very, very good playmakers like Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. There's a reason that when Jake Browning, a third stringer who had bounced around practice squads, came in last year to replace Joe Burrow, he produced better in the same exact offense. Higher EPA per play. Better win-loss record. Whether you're like an old-fashioned QB wins kind of guy or a newfangled analytics kind of guy, the production points towards Jake Browning being the upgrade last year. Very, very slight upgrade. But the fact that he's even close to as productive as Joe Burrow, this bad backup quarterback with no arm talent who wasn't drafted, is even close to Joe MVP Burrow, says a lot about what Joe Burrow really is. So I've made a different kind of video. Instead of showing you all 46 dropbacks, because that would take like an hour, I'm only showing you dropbacks where the ball traveled at least 10 yards downfield. Every single one of them, the good and the bad. We're not going to get into Joe Burrow's pocket awareness too much because it was great. There's no knock. And he exhibited that excellent pocket management on these clips. You're not going to see the fumble, but you will see the pick. 1 of 3 on deep balls, 4 solid throws, 35 routine throws, 6 bad throws, and a pick, plus a fumble on a sack. On these throws that are further than 10 yards downfield, he had 3 solid throws, 3 routine throws, 3 bad throws, and an interceptable throw. That means that when he's throwing beyond 10 yards, Joe Burrow is actively really bad. So, without further ado, let's look at what Joe Burrow does here. Let's look at not his stats, not his 370 yards passing, 100 of which came after the catch. Let's just look at what Joe Burrow is adding to the team, what difficult things he's doing. And the answer is almost nothing. All right, enough slander. Let's back it up and roll the film. I am not joking when I tell you that Jamar Chase ran this route on 12 of his 18 targets. It's really simple. For those of you who play Madden, they call it a button hook. In real life, it's kind of an out, but it's not really, right? Because when you think of an out, you think of an out being like this, like a hard stop corner, and then you just ride horizontally across the line marker. But what Jamar Chase actually does on all of these routes is run up 10 yards and then come back towards the sideline. And by the time he catches the ball, he's basically stopped moving and he's just boxed the defender out because they're so afraid he's going to run deep on them, right? So, again, not joking. 12 different targets on this very route. He switches sides of the field, but it's almost always on the left side. And I don't need to get into that. And T. Higgins runs the exact same route. Right? They're both big body receivers who defensive backs give cushion because they're afraid of their vertical threat. They both run up 10 yards, come back, and get to the sideline, barely moving, wide open because the cornerback can't run through them, right? It's almost a cheat code if you have a big receiver who's also fast. As long as the ball's out there quickly and Joe Burrow doesn't waste time reading the field, he just throws to his first read, it's unstoppable. If it's accurate, that is. So Joe Burrow had 32 routine throws in this game. About half of them were that route. And if you're super impressed by that route, cool, you love Joe Burrow, you can stop watching this video. But instead, I'm going to show you all the throws deeper than 10 yards in this game. First one, we're starting off with a deep shot to the running back. This is a tough one to grade, but I think that it's a bad throw. It's very close, and when I graded it live, I actually thought it was a good throw, a solid throw, well placed. But when I watched it on the replay, I realized this ball could have been better. Now, first of all, it's legitimately defended by the cornerback, right? Jordan Lewis gets his hand up, bats the ball away. So that's why it wasn't caught. Why is he able to bat the ball away? Well, you got a running back on the outside, and typically, when you have a running back lined up as a wide receiver, this is a huge advantage because typically you'll get a linebacker in coverage on them, and they're just faster than linebackers. But here you've got a slot corner against a running back. That's an advantage to the slot corner in coverage. Now, if you throw short and let the running back, get one-on-one with him in an open space scenario, now it's an advantage to the running back. But I digress. This is not a short yak situation. This is a streak. So, right here at about the 12-yard line, they're even, which Joe Burrow knows correctly means that his receiver is leaving. If they're even on a streak, you throw the ball because they're going to beat the defender, right? Momentum, acceleration, these things are in your favor. Problem is, the ball needs to be at the back pylon. As you can see, Chase Brown is winning deep and to the outside, which means that the ball needs to be deep and to the outside. Now, on this particular play, Joe Burrow leaves it in a little bit. Let's rewind, and you can see, watch as the running back slows down here in the end zone, right? He almost comes to a stop. He's tracking the ball slowly. Because the ball's not thrown far enough outside or far enough deep, the running back has to slow down, allowing the corner back into the play. Chase Brown's fast, but you take away that advantage when you underthrow the ball. And so while it's very close, and it totally could have been caught, you can't expect your running back to moss a cornerback and, in a jump ball situation. So it's a bad toss-up if you're just giving him a chance. And the ball's not thrown far enough deep. Watch the tight copy one more time. And hopefully you'll be able to see Chase Brown slowing down to make sure he times up the ball properly, and the ball's just not far enough downfield. So while I originally graded this as a solid and accurate deep throw, I have to downgrade it to an inaccurate, bad deep throw. The rest of the game is going to be a lot more the same. Now, remember I said almost every play is just this same, comeback out? Well, here it's not to Jamar Chase. It's to T. Higgins. And here it's not for 8 yards. It's for 10 yards. The 2 yards don't make a difference. It's the same exact play. You'll see it on the tight copy. T. Higgins runs up. He is bigger than you. He boxes out the defender, and he turns around. It's basically a curl. Now, I will say, look at Joe Burrow's pocket management, which was great the entire game. Almost everything he did, it's a plus pocket movement. He bailed out of a collapsing pocket. It's another plus pocket movement. He throws while rolling left, about to take a hit. That's nice. That's really great pocket management. And he was great at pocket managing the entire day, but his actual throws are not very good. And if you're just looking for pocket management, I present you Bryce Young. Right? Again, pocket management, nice. Right? Top of the drop, up. There's Micah Parsons. Got to run up and through him, make a throw on the run, but everybody's open. T. Higgins is open downfield. Jamar Chase is open on another curl because it's all the Bengals ever run. And it's really smart, right? You have elite big receivers, let them just run curls. They'll box out, they'll win. It doesn't have to be more difficult than that. And yes, you've got the scramble drill to your tight end, or not your tight end, your third wide receiver, Yoshivas, who's so big that sometimes I think that he's a tight end. But it couldn't be more easy. Like, I give him a solid throw. I graded this as solid. I graded a lot of these as solid. Most of these are positive plays. But Joe Burrow, once again, on the move this time, throwing to a receiver who's standing still and open. not very far downfield. These are not difficult throws. Now, the decision making is good, the pocket management is excellent, but the throws are not hard. Again, standing still, wide open on the sideline. This is a true out, right? This isn't one of those comeback outs, right? But he's standing still. There's nobody near him. Burrow's in a clean pocket. Like, this couldn't be easier. And again, that same route, that out button hook route, right? Run up and then run backwards into the sideline. It's never going to be stopped. Because if the cornerback ever has the guts, we'll call it, to bite and take away that underneath throw, you're just going to run Ja'Marr Chase behind him. And Ja'Marr Chase is so fast that he's gone. This is the beauty of having an elite receiver. It not only takes the pressure off the coordinator, but it takes the pressure off of the quarterback. Now, I know you're going to think like, oh, did you just show the same play twice in a row? No, I didn't. I showed two different plays that look identical because everything the Bengals do is this same. They spam this play. They found a glitch in Madden that you don't need a good quarterback to run, and it's why Jake Browning is actually more productive in the same offense when he plays because it's easy. And you'll see, sometimes Joe Burrow's not that accurate when he throws downfield. These aren't in any special order, they're chronological, but this is a bad throw. One of the rare throws where his receiver's not standing still and wide open, by the way. Also threw it into double coverage because he's not reading these plays out oftentimes. He's just saying, dude, it's Ja'Marr Chase, come on. Here, he's late and inaccurate, right? Ball's supposed to come out right here between these linebackers. Burrow's late. He doesn't see it. His other receivers are all wide open as well, right? Like, come on. You're open on a curl. You're open on a stop route. You're open on a flat. You're open on a dig. Joe Burrow's got everything available to him, and he's late anyway. And so Joe Burrow misses the hot throw. It's too high, and it's too far inside, and it gets picked off. Interceptable throw. And it's not just because he's inaccurate, although he is very inaccurate on this pass. It's also because he's making a decision too late. Not even close. Interceptable ball, totally on Burrow. Again, he had 4 wide open options, and he didn't hit any of them. Here, throws a fade to T. Higgins. It's not accurate. If a 6'5" T. Higgins can't get a hand on it, nobody can. It's a 6'5" T. Higgins on Deron Bland, who's a low-end cornerback too. He had a lot of pick sixes last year, but that was fluky. He's not actually very good in coverage. It's a bad throw. Again. Find me the times when Joe Burrow throws the ball past 10 yards to a moving receiver. Here, again, Ja'Marr Chase, it's just a deeper version of the same thing. 15 yards, stop, run backwards 2 yards, you're wide open, catch the ball on the sideline, not moving. Walking. Solid throw, Joe Burrow, but it couldn't be that much easier. To the extent that you have to idiot-proof and arm talent-proof an offense, this is how you do it. Again, really good pocket management, and I gotta give Burrow credit for that. It was a weakness when he came out of college, and he has turned it into an immaculate strength most of the time. In this game, he navigated the pocket beautifully, and it helped set up some nice plays. But when it comes to actually making throws, he doesn't do it. And sure, he doesn't really need to, and sure, it's nice that his offense affords him these easier throws. But when he's asked to do more, he's not very good at it. And if all he's doing is taking what's easily given, then you don't need to pay him $60 million because Jake Browning literally does the same thing for $500,000. Now, this throw I think is actually very good. It's a deep ball, and again, Burrow underthrows it a little bit, right? See how Ja'Marr Chase slows down right here? That's tracking. If he sprints and the ball's a little further outside and up, you can protect the receiver from the safety, and you can also keep the trailing defender, Diggs, out of the play. But it's still catchable, and it's Ja'Marr Chase. So I'm inclined to grade it as a solid throw, like a jump ball anyway. Right? Deep ball. It hits one hand. It's a contested catch for sure. And if it's out a little further, it doesn't need to be contested because Jamar Chase can easily run away from Trevon Diggs, a notably slow cornerback. That said, it still hits Jamar Chase in a hand. And when you're throwing to a guy like Jamar Chase, my typical rule of thumb is if it's close, it's a good idea because it's Jamar Chase. As a reminder, Joe Burrow was just one of three on deep passes, so anything longer than 20 yards. He had three solid throws, three routine throws, three bad throws, and a pickable throw on all of his attempts that were further than 10 yards downfield, which means that when he's throwing more than 10 yards downfield, he's an active hindrance to the team, a -3 PGP, which is my little algorithm for grading how many credit points or blame points the quarterback deserves on a given play. -3 on just 10 plays is an F, at least a D minus, right? He's not adding to this team. He's simply managing. And that's exactly what a game manager is. They're saying, you have great receivers. Here's some easy plays. They're not hard to read out. They're not hard to physically actually throw. All of us can throw a 10-yard curl. Not with the velocity that Joe Burrow can, of course. But it's not some great stretch of the imagination to imagine that an NFL backup quarterback could also do it, or, God forbid, a Josh Allen or Justin Herbert. I believe, very really, that if you were to replace Joe Burrow with a Josh Allen, with a Justin Herbert, this Bengals team is easily making the playoffs and probably putting up like 40 to 50 points a game. I'm not saying that Joe Burrow is terrible. I'm not saying he's unplayable. I'm simply saying he's not some franchise quarterback. He is enough. Put him on the Eagles. It's probably an improvement over what Jalen Hurts has given you because he actually takes advantage of those good receivers. But just because you cook tofu with chocolate and therefore the tofu tastes like chocolate doesn't mean the tofu is good. It's just tofu. Same with Joe Burrow. You put him around great receivers, he'll give you great production. You put him around bad receivers, he's going to give you bad production. You put him around average receivers, he's probably going to give you below average production because he's not creating any of this. He's not the one making this happen. Right? It's simple plays with great players who make it easy on him. On the season, I've graded every snap Joe Burrow's taken in the 13 games he's played. He is exactly league average in terms of rate of elite throws, rate of great throws, rate of solid throws. He's way above average in rate of routine throws, but he's also above average in bad throw rate and slightly below average in interception rate. What does this mean? If you want somebody to actually add to your offense by throwing deep and making impressive throws, Joe Burrow's not your guy. But if you need somebody to just execute a very simple, easy offense, Joe Burrow can do it. That's not worth $60 million. It doesn't make you the most valuable player in the league. It doesn't even necessarily make you a franchise quarterback. It makes you fine. So when you watch these plays, ask yourself, could Jared Goff make that throw? Do I think Brock Purdy could make that throw? If I kept him clean, could Mac Jones make that throw? And if the answer is yes, then what is Burrow adding? All right, hit me in the comments. I know I'm going to get a lot of hate from Bengals fans because they are a vociferous bunch, and I'm sure they are riled up after what has become a rare win this year. Do you think I'm being too harsh? Do you think Joe Burrow's adding something that doesn't show up on the film that is showing up in the stats? And if so, why is Jake Browning also adding that thing? Because when you're just throwing your first read to a wide open Jamar Chase on the sideline, you can't tell me that he's processing everything better than everybody else. And you can't tell me that it's a hard throw because we see it's not. So I guess the best you could do is say he's got so much trust in Jamar Chase that he'll throw him balls other quarterbacks wouldn't. And then Jamar Chase pays him off by being special. Or maybe you could say that Joe Burrow's calling the plays, and I think that Zach Taylor would probably have an issue with that. Let me know. If you like this video, you want more, subscribe, like. If you hate it, just be nice. As long as you're not nasty about it, I'll engage with you and I will not delete your comments. But if it gets like nasty, I gotta delete it because otherwise we're gonna get shadow banned. So I guess until next time, I'm gonna grind film and look for a positive video to make because I know I'm gonna get a ton of hate for being negative. All right, hasta.